The wheel option strategy is extremely popular, but does it actually work? Well, in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly step by step how the wheel strategy is traded. And then I'm going to walk you through 3 different backtests using real data to show you how the wheel strategy performs in different scenarios. You're going to learn when the wheel strategy thrives, and you're also going to see how it performs when the stock price falls over 50%. So how do we actually trade the wheel? Well, there's multiple steps, and the first step is to start by selling cash secured puts. This means we are going to collect premium while waiting to buy a stock we want at a lower price. But what is a cash secured put? Well, you can sell put options on a stock you want to own, but for the put to be cash secured, you have to hold 100 times the strike price. So if you sell a put with a strike price of $90, you need $9,000 set aside in cash, because if the stock price is below the strike price when this option expires, you will get assigned and buy 100 shares of stock at the strike price, and that's going to cost $9,000. If you don't have the cash set aside, then your put is not cash secured and you cannot trade the wheel strategy. When we sell the put option, we have 2 outcomes at expiration. The first outcome is that the put option expires out of the money, and this means the stock price is above the put strike at expiration. And if that's the case, we keep the put premium, and then we can sell another put to collect more money. But the second outcome is that the put expires in the money, and this means the stock price is below the strike price at expiration. When this happens, we get assigned on the put option, and we use the cash set aside to buy 100 shares at the put strike price. Once we have 100 shares of stock, we proceed to step 3. Step 3 of the wheel is to sell covered calls. And this is going to allow us to get paid while waiting to sell our shares at a higher price. Again, there's 2 outcomes when we sell covered calls. If the call is in the money at expiration, the stock is above our strike price and we sell our shares at the strike price. And then we go back to selling cash secured puts in step 1. If the call is out of the money at expiration, that means the stock is below our call strike and it expires out of the money, and we get to keep our shares, the call option disappears, and we can sell another call option to collect even more premium. So that's how the wheel strategy works, but is it actually profitable and does it outperform the stock? Let's look at a Tesla wheel from January 2025 until March 2026. We're going to start by selling a 30 delta put option in the standard monthly expiration cycle with approximately 60 days to expiration. If the put expires out of the money, we're going to sell the next 30 delta put in the next standard monthly expiration 60 days out. And we do that 1 trading day after our put expires. But if the put expires in the money, this means we get assigned, and we're going to buy 100 shares of stock at the strike price. On the next trading day, we will sell a 30 delta call option 60 days out. If the call expires out of the money, we will sell yet another 30 delta call 60 days out. But if the call expires in the money, that means we get assigned and we sell our shares at the strike price and return to step 1 and start selling cash secured puts once again. If you don't know what I mean by selling a call option or put option at a specific delta, let's really quickly look at Tesla. Currently, the closest expiration to 60 days is June 2026. And when I open up these options, I can see the strike prices of the calls and puts, and then I can also see the delta of all the contracts. In this scenario, the stock price is $348.95, and the put option in this expiration with a delta closest to 30 is the $325 strike price. So to start the wheel, I would sell this $325 call for $15.37, and I would collect $1,537 into my account right away. And this would leave me with a risk profile that looks just like this. I have limited profit potential to the upside, so I'll make $1,537 so long as Tesla is above my put strike of $325. But if the stock price collapses, my position will start to lose money and my returns will become stock-like, as we can see by this 45-degree up and to the right line. This is what the payoff of a long stock position looks like. And if the stock price is below $325 at expiration, I'll get assigned and buy 100 shares at $325, and then I can turn around and start selling call options against it. And when we do that, we get these equity curves. So we have $40,000 starting capital. So we're comparing buying 100 shares of Tesla to running the wheel strategy. And at the beginning of this period, Tesla was below $400 a share. And so we basically spent almost $40,000 on 100 shares and had a little bit of cash left over. But then we compare that to running the wheel strategy as outlined before. Right after trade entry, Tesla went up, but then had a big crash. And if I hover over March 10th, 2025, we can see that the buy and hold of 100 shares was down to just over $24,000, but the wheel portfolio was much higher at just under $31,000. So during this stock price crash, The wheel strategy outperformed since we have less downside risk when we trade the wheel as compared to buying 100 shares of stock. But then Tesla recovered, and if I hover over October 1st, 2025, just buying 100 shares and holding them long term, that portfolio grew to $48,000. But the wheel strategy was back right around $40,000, which means it basically got back to the starting value while the shares were significantly outperforming. At the end of this period, the buy and hold approach was up 5.81%, and the wheel strategy was basically at a 0% return, making a total of $12. While this wheel strategy did not make any money with these given rules, these equity curves highlight what the wheel strategy is all about. The wheel strategy is going to be much less volatile than owning 100 shares of stock. On the downside, the wheel strategy will outperform because selling out of the money cash secured puts has less downside risk than buying 100 shares of stock. But if the stock price makes a really strong run, the shares will outperform because we have limited profit potential when we're selling cash secured puts and also selling covered calls. There's one small tweak we can make to this wheel strategy that will lead it to outperforming Tesla, but first let's look at a summary of all the trades. In this table, we're looking at all of the trades in this particular wheel backtest. We have the entry dates, the expirations, and the types of options that we were trading. We have the strike prices, the premium collected, the stock price at expiration, and the outcome for all of these trades. Over the entire test period, we collected $13,326 in premium, and we were assigned on 3 of these options. But we had a $7,000 loss on the share transactions. And that's because the first put we sold had a strike price of $345. The stock price ended below $345 and we got assigned, so we bought 100 shares at $345. Then we sold a $380 strike call, and that expired worthless because the stock price was way below the strike price at expiration. The next call we sold was $275, and the stock price ripped higher to $322.16. And so we were assigned on the short call, which means we sell our 100 shares. But since we bought 100 shares at $345, and we sold them for $275, we lost $7,000 on this share transaction. And this highlights one of the big risks of trading the wheel this way, and that's that if the stock price collapses, the call strikes that you can sell for a decent premium might be way below the put strike that you were initially assigned on, and this leaves you with a position that cannot make money on the upside. Really quickly, I want to show you what I mean by that. So this is the option modeler on projectoption.com. This is a tool that I use to visualize and analyze all my trades. But let's say that we got assigned on 100 Tesla shares at a put strike price of $400. So we're currently down $5,100 on our position. If I go to the 34-day expiration cycle, this is the next month's standard monthly cycle. If I look for the call option with a delta near 30, we get to the 380 strike price. But remember, I got assigned on a 400 strike put, and therefore my entry cost on these shares is $400. If I sell this 380 strike call to create this covered call position, we will notice that the P&L chart is negative at all stock prices. If I hover over the chart at any price above 380, we'll see that at expiration, which is the T plus 34 line, I have a loss of $1,100. And that's because I bought 100 shares at 400, but then I'm selling this 380 call, which obligates me to sell my shares at 380, which is well below where I bought them if I'm assigned on this short call. In this particular scenario, we probably wouldn't want to sell the 380 call. At a bare minimum, I'd want to sell at the 400 call strike price because this would be selling my shares at the price that I bought them initially. And now if I sell the 400 strike call, we can see that if I hover over stock prices above 400, I do have positive P&L potential at the time of expiration. I'm going to propose one small tweak to this strategy that can allow this wheel to outperform the stock if the stock price recovers. And I'm going to call this the patient wheel. For example, if we got assigned on a put option at a 300 strike price, we are going to not sell call options if the 30 delta call is below the strike price of 300. If we look at these strike prices and the deltas of these call options, we can see that the 280 call strike has a delta of 30, and this is below the put option we got assigned on. And so we're going to skip selling this call option, and we're just going to simply hold our shares of stock. If the stock price goes back up, this will allow us to sell a higher strike call option at a delta of 30, and we can continue the strategy with a much better payoff. If we make that one small tweak, we get 3 different equity curves here. So we have the buy and hold like we did before, and we have the initial wheel strategy, and now we have the patient wheel strategy, which is the gold line. We can see that the patient wheel strategy massively outperforms over the entire period because we are being patient and we're not selling call options when it creates a position where we can't make money. Instead, we're waiting for the stock price to recover, and then we're going to start selling call options again once it becomes logical to do so. Over the entire period, the buy and hold was up 5.81%. The initial wheel made no money, but the adjusted wheel strategy made 35%. This one simple tweak to the strategy made us massively outperform the buy and hold over this test period. And when we look at the trade summary for using this rule set, we see a much bigger difference in the share P&L. So the first time we got assigned at 345 in the put. So we buy 100 shares at 345. And then we sold the 380 call, which expired out of the money. If you look at these entry dates and expiration dates, we see that this put option that expired out of the money expired on April 17th, 2025, and we didn't enter the next short call until May 9th, 2025. So that gap is where we were waiting to sell a call option at a strike price at or above the put strike we got assigned on, which happened right here where we sold the 345 call for just over $1,000 in premium. Eventually, we got hit on one of our short calls at a strike price of 365, and that means we had a share gain of $2,000 since we bought 100 shares at 345 and we sold them at 365 when we got assigned on the call. So instead of losing $7,000 on our assignments, this time with this rule set, we actually made $2,000 by being patient and waiting to sell a call option at a strike price at or above the put strike we got initially assigned on. But where does the wheel profit actually come from? The wheel profits come from the total option premiums collected, plus the stock gains or losses from buying at the put strikes and selling at the call strikes. When you combine these two things, you get your total wheel P&L. If we look at Tesla's first complete wheel cycle, we will see that we got assigned on a put strike of 345, and then we sold a bunch of calls that expired out of the money, and we eventually got assigned on a 365 strike call. And so we have a $2,000 gain on that transaction. But we collected a total of $6,371 for all of the premiums collected for the puts and calls that we sold in this wheel cycle. And this brings our total wheel P&L to a positive $8,371 for this cycle. And this cycle ended on September 19th, 2025. If I go back to the Tesla wheel equity curve and go exactly to September 19th, 2025, we will see that the wheel ended with a value of $48,371. Which perfectly aligns with our starting capital of $40,000 plus the $8,371 profit from this wheel cycle. Let's look at another example, which is NVDA from the same test period. And we're starting with $15,000 just because we're looking at whatever the initial stock price is and we're multiplying that by 100. And that gives us a stock price that was initially around $150. Again, we can see that the wheel strategies are much less volatile than the stock price itself. But over this test period, both of these wheel strategies underperformed a buy and hold in the stock. The wheel strategies outperformed when the stock price collapsed, but when the stock price went on a big run, the wheel strategies massively underperformed. On October 29th, 2025, simply owning 100 shares went up to just under $22,000, where the wheel strategies were at around $17,000 and $18,000. But all three approaches did make money over this test period. Now, even though the wheel strategies underperform the buy and hold, a big benefit of the wheel strategy and why it's so important as an income strategy is that the volatility of a wheel position is way lower than owning 100 shares of stock itself. Now, these were on stocks that increased in value, but let's look at a stock that has decreased massively over this test period. So we're going to look at MicroStrategy or Strategy, which has decreased significantly since January 2nd, 2025. On January 2nd, 2025, MSTR closed at $300 per share and is currently at $128. So how did the wheel strategy perform on a stock that did this? Again, we see that the wheel strategies are much less volatile than the stock itself. It underperforms on the upside and outperforms on the downside, but all three strategies lost money over this entire test period. But the wheel strategy did far better than the MSTR stock because the stock fell 57%, but these wheel strategies fell 26 to 30%. So massive outperformance despite the negative P&L. But this highlights the downside of using that patient strategy, which is waiting to sell calls at a strike higher than the put we got assigned on. The basic wheel strategy where we're selling calls no matter what, just following the rules, even if that call strike is below where we got assigned. We can see that portfolio ended with a value of 22,133, but the patient wheel strategy ended with $21,000. By not selling calls during this downside move, this strategy collects less premium overall and has less downside protection. If you're enjoying this presentation and you want to grab a copy of it and get a trade summary of all of the back tests in this video, there's a link in the description where you can sign up for the newsletter. You can get this presentation, my options trading for beginners PDF, as well as a ton of other free bonus resources that will help you as an options trader. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun creating this presentation. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment down below. I recently did a video on how Leaps options work, which I think is super valuable. So if you want to learn about Leaps, check out this video linked right here. I'm Chris from Project Option. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.